Hello, welcome back to Auto Pop Culture. Today we're going over the fifth album by the Veronicas called Human. So, a couple of things. So first thing is that they released an album not so long ago, like literally like a month ago, called Godzilla, and I reviewed that. I'll leave a kind of link to it inside the description. But oh my god, it wasn't really the greatest work of them. I do understand that they were mixing up some of the songs that they were supposed to release in 2012's album that was going to be called Life on Mars, but because due to the WB or them their split with the WB music business, they pretty much in 2013, pretty much the year after, they kind of scrapped that whole album and didn't release it, even though they teased it up to that point. So there was a huge gap, and then finally they came back with "Bite My Tongue," and that was supposed to be for this album. But in the middle of it, they decided to release another album before the album they're originally supposed to go. So technically, it's supposed to go "The Secret Life of," "Hook Me Up," "The Veronicas," then "Human." So, but right now it's all those all the way down to Veronica. Then it goes into Godzilla, then Human. So now which is kind of cool that we have two albums with them, which is great because there's definitely some songs from Godzilla that I didn't like. This one just makes way more sense. This whole album is so good. It's way better than Godzilla. And I think that Godzilla it makes it feel like Godzilla was kind of like an experimental piece or more kind of like a mixtape. But it wasn't called a mixtape. I wish they did say it. Like, this is a mixtape. This is not the album. This is just a mix-up tape or pieces of it from on Mars. Here's your actual album now. Because it seems like it's a mixture between they're really holding up Godzilla, but they're pushing and pushing. Stuff I looked up was like pushing the fact that like this is supposed to be the real album though. So I'm gonna play along with that direction. So here we are. I'm still gonna call it the fifth album because Godzilla is definitely an album. So this one's really good. I love it. It's pretty much talks about a lot of more depth. There's way more depth in this album than it was in Godzilla. This one talks about love, loss, fame, and not letting it change you, and just so many and sure, those things that we all heard before, but they actually, like I said, and I talked about this in the last video about Doja Cat, I was just like, you're touching on things, but you're not going in deep about it or making it more personal or adding something to it that other people haven't talked about. And I feel like in this album, it is exactly what I'm talking about. They go so deep into the idea of what the topic of each song that you can visualize exactly how she feels or how they both feel depending on whose subject is being used in each whatever song. So let me go over some of the songs I really like, which is going to be a good handful of them because I basically almost started half of the first album or half of this album. So it kicks off with "Without You," which is something you think like, oh wow, you're really starting off pretty sad, like not sad as in bad, but like sad as like emotion wise. And it's pretty much a song that's just talking. It's sad, but it's not sad. It's sad in the space of where the guy or the person that's put her in, but not sad because she reminds that person that she's much better than they think. So pretty much this first one's pretty much talking about how the guy is like, you will never succeed or be anything without me. And she's showing you, she's like, actually, without you, I've learned to love myself. I learned to see that I am enough, and that I can go on without you kind of thing. Love it. It starts off with that. It's very empowering, but also sad. It's like, fuck, wow, this sucks that this is the situation that she had to be in. Movie Star featuring Free Soul and Lavva. This one's really good. I love it started off, for me, I feel like it started off with I got introduced to it in Taylor Swift in this kind of direction where they start with the feature, and then you don't really see the actual singer that's part of the song until maybe the second verse. I think it's so interesting. She's like, ooh, where did they go? Where did they go? Is this a different song? What's going on? But it's actually, I feel like it adds more layers to songs. I love that they started off with Free Soul, then went on. This song pretty much talks about how how this person, how they're in love, or how she's in love with a movie star, and the movie star's like, "Oh, you're only out to be with me because I'm a fame, because of the fame and everything. You don't really care about being with me." And she likes to let this person know that that's not true. That she sees this person more than this movie star, more than anything, more than that just the typical materialistic pieces that this person can provide. And I love that. So, you still believe that my love's only for your fame, but I know that you're lonely in a crowd. I know those friends let you down. Nobody will know who you really are, but to me, you're more than a star or more than a movie star. I love that. L.A. The next song is L.A. and I really like it. It talks about the false face of LA, pretty much saying just the direction that everybody else has been talking about, but they go into more detail. Um, you're all about the hotels, diamonds, fucking fighting. Look who you invited. Look who have you invited. You don't even like them. I don't want to go back anyway. Everybody's lying to your face. That kind of thing is just like, here's all the examples that they're really really into that I just realized it's like I thought this would be good, and they go to more details about like how it's just like there's so much. I really thought this is where I'm supposed to go to, not knowing that I find out that it's not. It's completely fake. They talked about it, but thought I didn't believe it, so I can kind of just go into it, and this is what came out. Um, the next song is On Your Side, which just talks about the commitment through hard times. And at first you think it's about, oh, I'm there for you no matter what. We're going to make it through in this relationship. We're going through hard times, but it's okay. You think that's what it's talking about. Because she starts off with life isn't pretty. We all get a little wrecked sometimes. Through all the hard times, I'm on your side. That's what you think. You're like, okay, cool. Shoot, this all about commitment. But the second verse flips it right on itself and says, I remember the night that when you packed all your bags in the door. I put in the doorway. Oh yeah, in the doorway. Said, I don't want to fight. You can leave, but remember, I'm always on your side. That's her saying that to him when they were leaving. I don't really know. I know that we're talking about a couple of people, or I don't know if we're touching on Ruby Rose in this majority of this album, but because I want to lean into that because that's what it kind of feels like. But I want to keep it pretty blank until it officially says, yes, this is about that, which is one of the songs does that. So yeah, this one is just like the person leaves and she's like, no matter what, I'm on your side, even if we're breaking up, even if we're done, like I still will be there for you. I still want to be there for you and everything that you're doing. Out of Time, featuring Wrabel. This one's talking about the uncomfortable piece of the part of a relationship where you don't feel like there's anything else to give, and there's nothing, and it's just getting colder and colder. Nothing's getting warmer, and so, but you're in that space where you're just like, I don't really know what to do. And so, this part that I really love is that Wrabel. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Starts off the song, which is one thing I kind of like, kind of fun, like Dimension Start. So definitely pulling in the topic of the song, and once again the Veronicas add more layers. So he starts off by saying, "Baby, you used to linger on my lips, on my fingers," and then later on says, "Even in a twin bed, so much empty space. Don't know how to break up, don't know how to stay." I feel like that's such a weird space to be in, and it's such a very common space to be in too, especially when you're in toxic relationships, that you really do love this person, but you know that is not going to go as planned, or things hasn't really progressed into the way that you guys both wanted it to be. And I think she's in that situation. I think they're all in that situation. We're just like, what do I do? Do I stay? Do I go? If I stay, does that mean like I'm gonna have this? That means I'm gonna be stuck in this situation. If I go, what does that mean? It's just so many situations of that direction. Think of Me is about Ruby Rose and the split between her and Jessica, which is one of the half of the Veronicas. They had I didn't really know they had a thing, but they did. and apparently we get to, it's a perfect flip you on the side again, by saying, starting off with the half of it starting like, oh, I miss you, blah blah blah, do you think of me as everything with this new girl, she does the things that I do, blah blah blah, just magnifying so many good things that they had, or all the connections that they had together. She says, it's been 5 months, 9 hours, 42 seconds since I felt whole. When she says it's love, will you think of me instead? Pretty much all these things that, like, talked about, like, she does miss her, and she does think about her, but then it flips, because then it starts talking about more directions of detail of what they actually went through, and understanding the point is like, okay, well, then if you miss her, why are you guys broken up? Or if you miss her and she's with somebody else, why aren't you moving on? But we find out that it's not the case of not moving on, it's a case of it was toxic, and she does miss her, but she does realize throughout the whole that the other half is that, yeah, it wasn't going to be, because it wasn't going to get any better. As she points out the flaws and shit that was going on in a relationship, as, and I bet you charge her rent to sleep at your home. And I didn't write this part down, but she also adds, and when you're late, she kicks you out, and she puts in little quotes, is like 6 times. Pretty much she must have got kicked out 6 times from Ruby due to the fact of not having rent on time. And so it's interesting, it's just like, oh, she slept at your house, she's your girlfriend, sleeps at your house, and you get her to pay rent. Unless you're in a situation where it's like, shit, we need to start, I can't afford to have us both here, blah blah blah, I get it. But usually doesn't usually happen, and I think that, especially when you're a star, you don't really need to, I don't think that Jessica was really that much of a burden to where you couldn't really just like, okay, like, I can pay, I have money, I'm good to go, you know? I don't need you to add more money to this house, you know? Maybe she shouldn't bought that mansion, I don't really know. Don't really know the situation, I'm just making complete, like, imaginary situation that could have happened in those spaces, but is a part that she says, I underestimated how complicated you are. I don't miss being hated. I don't miss fighting your war. Pretty much pointing out, it's like, yeah, it was shit. There were some shitty things going on that I definitely don't miss. I do miss you and the good stuff we had, but in the end of it, I don't really miss a lot of other things that went downhill that really, really showed a lot that you're still struggling with yourself and figuring out yourself, you know, that I didn't want to be a part of. Jealous is now on its other side, where she's like, okay, but you're out having fun with all these different girls, and I'm so jealous, but you play it so nice and cool, like you don't really know it's happened, like you're not even bothered by it, but it's because of that makes you even more jealous. So yeah, so that's pretty much plain and simple. I liked it. I love the production. The productions in this whole album is really, really nice. Bite My Tongue is a really good one. It's the song, it was the first song before Godzilla promotion starting. This one pretty much talks about how she wants to say, like, I love you, I want to be with you, I want to take this to the next level. Because she wants this person to be more than friends, but anytime she gets close to saying that, she chokes up. She's like, fuck, I can't, I try to say it to you, and then I choke up, and then I don't want to have it to where you finally leave or find another person, and then I never got to say this to you. You know, and we remain friends, but it's just like, I want to be more. Goodbye is a very cheeky one. It talks about pretty much having this, not giving in into cheating, pretty much. She's at the bar, she's drunk, she's hanging out, and sees this person that's very, very hot, and she wants to flirt with them, and she's like, oh, I really want this, and then she realizes, like, okay, I can't do this, because if I do push this further, it could really go to a point where I end up cheating, so she just says goodbye, and just pushes herself away from that person. Life of the Party is the last one I really liked, featuring Allday. Already heard the song, I already talked about the song before, but it's not really, it's pretty much the idea of pointing out the idea of being the life of the party and being in this rich space and everything, but knowing that all of that doesn't really matter if you don't really have somebody, you know, or you don't have a crew, or you don't have a friend, or somebody that has a connection with you. No matter if it doesn't mean that I personally don't think it has to be a lover. It doesn't have to be like it literally could be a lover, a friend, a family member, somebody that you connect with. If you can't connect with anybody at the party, if you're not with somebody at the party that you can connect with, what's the point? You know, you're just there by yourself. And I think that that's why people always like to invite a friend. Oh, can I bring a friend? Can I bring a friend? Kind of thing. Because no one wants to go to a party by themselves. And it ends with human. I kind of liked it. I get the gist of it. She's just human. Um, but I do love this album. I think it's so much better than Godzilla. I'm so proud of it. I'm so happy with it. I was so upset. I was like, please don't make human be like Godzilla. Godzilla's not bad, but it's not great. And this is great. This is great. I give this a 9 out of 10. Leave a comment below to me what you thought. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe button, and the notification button too, so you get more of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next video.